This is the complete beginner's guide to modern industrialization. This is being filmed on 1.21, but should be absolutely fine for all versions that you may be playing on. Now, this is a beginner's guide, so what does that actually mean? Well, we're going to be going through, of course, the introduction, how to use the mod and getting started, and then we're going to be looking at the Steam age. Once you get to the end of the Steam age, you pretty much should have a core understanding of the mod. However, I will have an ultimate guide and individual guides on my channel for you to see. And as you can see here, I do lots and lots of different mod guides, ultimate and beginner, for every single one of them. So if you are looking for other mods, don't forget to subscribe and check out what I have in my catalogue. And always comment below for other ones you may be interested in. If you're not familiar with this mod, it is a bit like GregTech or IC2, etc., but it's definitely a lot simpler, a lot more straightforward, and it's taken all that tediousness out of it. First thing you're going to want to make is an MI, Modern Industrialization, guidebook. How do we make this? It's some copper nuggets and a book. And this is going to give you everything you need to know, but you don't need to worry about that, of course, because you have me. The first two things you're going to then want to mine up is a ton of iron, tin, and copper. We do then have here the Steam age, like I have previously mentioned, and then we have the electric age. In the Steam age, it's basically a gateway to the electric age, so you are going to be replacing all of your Steam age machines eventually. Once we get to the Steam electric age, you won't be replacing those items, and you can then feel free to make your final setups, so do be aware of that. The first thing you want to make is a forge hammer here. Make it out of iron ingots and some heavy weighted pressure plates. I'm not going to be going through all recipes. I'm going to make the assumption that you know how to use JEI. If you don't, just click and then press R over a recipe to see how to make it. And then U is uses for items. And that's generally all you need to know. Get a usage tutorial. So a forge hammer, once you've got one, we can place it down like this. This is it in front of it. And then right click to go inside it. And then what you're going to do is in this left slot here, you're going to put the item you're going to use. And you are going to want to get Silk Touch for a lot of the ores here. There is going to be a way quite shortly I'm going to show you to easily get Silk Touch, so don't worry. Let's put in our iron ore. And you can see here, raw iron comes up. 1 iron ore makes 2 raw iron. If I click raw iron, I've then selected that recipe and I can take out 2 raw iron. If I do that, you can see it's now gone to 48 iron ore. If I do it again, it goes down to 47. So I'm basically just clicking to take my output. There's also a slot here for a hammer. And this is for these hammers here. There's an iron one. There is a netherite one, a steel one, and a diamond one. The only difference between these is the durability on them. So let's have a look at how we make an iron hammer. If I press R on here, you can see it's some sticks and some iron large plates. To make iron large plates, we need 4 iron plates. And to make iron plates, you use the forge hammer. You can see here, 2 iron ingots makes 1 plate. So 2, 4, 6, 8 ingots will make 4 iron plates, and 4 iron plates makes 1 large one. You need 32 iron ingots to be able to make the iron hammer, which is quite a lot. However, once you make that iron hammer and we put it in here, what you're going to see is we're going to double up our output. So, 50% increase, not double. When I put in the iron hammer, I've unlocked another recipe. I can actually make 3 raw iron from 1 iron ore. Or I can make 4, so actually we are doubling it, dust. So I can actually now make 4 iron dust out of 1 iron ore. Iron dust can be simply smelted into an ingot. So although you've spent quite a lot of time getting 32 iron ore to make your hammer, you now are actually going to be getting 4 iron per ore. So you've quadrupled it from, rather than getting 1, you're getting 4 each time. And you've doubled it if you weren't using a hammer. If I put in copper ingots into here, you can see we can make quite a lot of things. Copper bolts, curved plates, double ingots, dust, rods, rings, etc. And then double ingots, you can see I can make like double the amount of rings and plates and things like that. So you can always just put the item in and see the recipe. What I can also do is press U on the copper ingot here and then go to Forge Hammer at the top, and you can see what items can be made with that item that you're putting in there. And that is pretty much how you use the Forge Hammer. Now, I did say about getting Silk Touch really easily, and that is with a steam mining drill here. If we look at how to make that, you need some large iron plates again, which I've shown you, and a copper drill head. It looks quite complex with the copper drill head, needing plates, curved plates, bolts, and gears. gears being made with bolts and rings, etc. But all of these items, when you just work it back, can all be made in the forge hammer. Just keep working it back. Drill head, okay. A gear, okay. A ring. How do I make a ring? Forge hammer. Nice, I can make it with a copper ingot. So once you've made your steam mining drill, you're going to see on top of it, it needs water, and it also needs some sort of combustible. The combustible is in that grey slot, and then the water percentage you can see is a bar. What I can do is just right-click over the water, and now the water is full. If I want to add coal into it, which is also something you'll need for the sort of burnable, I just take the steam mining drill and right-click it over the coal in my inventory, and now the coal is in there. So if I had coal in that slot, I pick up the mining drill, right-click the coal, and now it comes back out. Right-click the coal, and it goes back in. What I can also do by pressing Y for Yankee on my keyboard is enable and disable 3x3 mining. You see that black outline is going to change whenever I change it on there. You can also shift right-click to actually enable and disable Silk Touch, so you don't have to have it enabled. But that is a great way of getting Silk Touch and also 3x3 mining early game. You can also press shift on some of these items to see more about them. The next thing we need to do, being in the steam age, is actually make some steam. So to preface it, we're going to be using a boiler to boil up water and make steam. We're going to be using another machine to pump out the water for it. And then we're going to be using that steam to power some bronze machines. We're also going to be using item pipes, and we're going to be using fluid pipes. See here. Let's first look at the bronze boiler and actually making the steam itself. So, a bronze boiler, we're going to need some bronze plates and a bronze tank, etc. And we're also going to need some fire clay bricks. To make bronze, what you're going to want to do is make bronze dust. And that is going to be 3 copper dust and 1 tin dust. You can make dusts in the forge hammer. So just make the bronze dust and then smelt them to make bronze ingots, put that in the forge hammer, and you can eventually get to your bronze boiler. You're also going to need fire clay bricks. This is 4 fire clay bricks. You need fire clay dust. Same thing again, it's brick dust and clay balls. Clay balls, so you just get from clay. And then brick dust, again, in the forge hammer, you can put in bricks and get the brick. Fire clay bricks, smelt it up, get the brick, make your bronze boiler. We place down a boiler, like you can see in front here. What you're going to see is a temperature bar. Water, steam, so input and output, and also the hard fuel you're going to be using, which is going to be coal. So if I put down my bronze boiler here, as you can see here, I've got another machine, which is a bronze water pump. Again, you just need some components that you can make in the forge hammer, and you're going to place it down, and you want to put water horizontally to the 8 ones around it. Now, annoyingly, to actually make your bronze water pump work, you will also need steam, because it is a steam-powered machine, and all of these bronze machines do require steam. I'm going to put the water down. Oh, you can see it's not making any water because we need steam. So how can we get steam then? Obviously, you could just put a bucket of water into this bronze boiler, but one thing you can actually do is get your bucket of water and put it into your furnace, and you can actually smelt up a bucket of steam, and you'll actually get a steam bucket. You can then get that steam bucket and just right-click it, left-click it, I think it is. There you go, left-click it into my bronze water cup and put steam in there. And that's going to be the same for all bronze machines. You can manually left-click in, water or steam, whatever they need, like that. Once you've done that and you've got your pump, what you're then going to do is shift right-click and then shift right-click again with a fluid pipe. That's going to attach the fluid pipes. What we can then do is right-click on the fluid pipe, and it's going to have a priority, so it will try and input and output to the highest priority first, and you can say, do I want this side to input or output? You can see there's a little arrow on there showing input, but we want to output from here. We want to output the water, so I'm going to say extract only on this button over here, and that's going to automatically, it knows that we're trying to extract the water. And shift click to clear that network of its fluid and just say, no, I don't want any. So that's going to output water automatically. What we can then do is shift right click and shift right click again to attach a fluid pipe to our boiler. And then we can just shift right click at it because there's nothing else in the way. Fluid pipes onto here. And then when they connect up so we're now exporting water. It's going to go into our boiler. You can see here the little arrow we want to go to insert. It inserts the water into our boiler. You can then put coal in here, and the temperature will rise, and we will start making steam. Now, what you can also make is a wrench, just made from bronze plates. What we could do with a wrench is I can right-click these cables to connect or disconnect them, shift right-click to make it drop, right-click the fluid pipe back down, right-click here, and right-click here to join it back up. There you go. This is a fully working system I've made here. Got the bronze boiler, water coming in from the pump, and if you only had, by the way, like one water, so it would actually pump up a lot less. You want to surround it completely. And you can actually put these pipes in the water, and you can also put item pipes in here. Can you see there? I've got the item pipe and the fluid pipe. You can actually put these all in the same space, just like you could used to on Ender.io, or can on Ender.io. So what we've got here is the pump exporting the water into the fluid pipe, which is going into the bronze boiler. I've got coal in here, and you could automate this by getting a chest, item pipe, saying extract on the item pipe, and you can see it defaults to whitelist mode enabled, which is a tad annoying. So if I put in my coal here, it is whitelisting the coal. However, if I take the coal out, can you see it says empty filter? If I put the coal into this chest, and it's automatically saying, yep, extract from the chest, input into into here, you can see the coal isn't going anywhere, even though there's space for it. What you want to do is right-click on the item pipe and click to blacklist mode, and it won't need a filter. Obviously, you could just click the coal into the whitelist, but if you don't want to whitelist it, you just change it to blacklist, and it will just let anything through, unless you obviously put things in that you want blacklisted. And now you can see it's filling up with coal. What you can then do is attach another fluid pipe and put it to out, and it will automatically take the steam out of our boiler, and I'm putting it through a bronze tank, and it's going back into our water pump. A bronze tank is just how you can store fluids, and steam is technically a fluid in this mod, and then we're just pumping it into all of our other bronze machines, and that is how you make steam. Now let's look at the machines that we can make out of our bronze. So we've got the bronze compressor, the mixer, the macerator, the cutting machine, and the furnace. The furnace doesn't make any more ores or anything. It's just double the speed of a normal furnace. And one steam boiler running at full temperature here can provide 4 machines with enough steam. However, I have got 5 here because I'm not going to be using all of 5 of these at once, and therefore there'll be more than enough steam. But running at full capacity, one steam boiler can run 4 machines at once. So first up, we have the compressor. Again, all of the items that you're going to be using here is going to be either like a forge hammer or items that you can make in the forge hammer. These machines will be really good at increasing your efficiency, by the way. The forge hammer is not as efficient. Using these bronze machines are going to be a lot better. So you can see in here, in the compressor, 1 bronze ingot makes 1 bronze plate. Whereas in the forge hammer, you need 2 bronze ingots to make a bronze plate. So it's half how much bronze you need. And that's going to basically compress things and automate it. Then you have the mixer. The mixer is going to mix things. This is really good for your ores as well. You can see in here, 3 copper dust and 1 tin makes 4 bronze dust. Whereas if you just do it in your crafting grid, you only get 3. So it's adding like a third more efficiency. There's loads of other things like TNT, paper, using wood pulp, which I'm not sure how to get yet. I will by the time I finish this video. Dirt into mud. There's loads of different things you can make here in the mixer. So do have a look. It's a really, really useful machine. We then have the bronze macerator. The macerator macerates things. So a really good example is things like dandelions and sunflowers. It's going to be quite efficient at doing so as well, like glowstone back into 4 glowstone dust. You can also use it to make things like cobblestone into gravel, 1 bone into 6 bone meal, blaze dust would be good, and things like that. And you can also macerate down, like if you've made too many bolts, using titanium as an example, obviously not using that yet, but you can make a titanium blade into 5 titanium tiny dust. Tiny dusts, you can put 9 of them into 1 dust, which you can then smelt up into an ingot, of course. So that's the macerator. We've got the cutting machine. Now, this is an interesting one. The cutting machine, you are going to need to be going on to the next phase, which is coal coke. and things like that. So to use the cutting machine, as you can see here, it needs steam. It also needs lubricant. So I'm just going to show you it quickly, what the cutting machine can do. Well, it's going to cut things, basically. And it's going to do so very efficiently. Like an iron ingot will make 2 iron rods. Whereas in the forge hammer, 1 iron ingot makes 1 iron rod. So again, it's doubled. However, you do need to pump into it lubricant. Lubricant is made at the start of the game. It's going to be creosote, okay? With some redstone dust and creosote in a mixer, you will get lubricant, which you can then use in your cutting machine. And you just use fluid pipes. How do we get creosote? Well, that is going to be made in the next step, which is the coke oven. I just wanted to show you these bronze machines first. So just do be aware, you are going to have to do the next step before being able to use the cutting machine. And then we've got the furnace, which I've already spoken about. And that is all of your bronze machines. Do keep these machines, because later on, down at this point, we're going to be upgrading them to steel. And you can directly upgrade these machines into their steel counterparts. And there you go. We've now made steam and looked at how to make all of the bronze machines. So then let's actually have a look at the coke oven. So to make the coke oven, you're going to need a few things. We're going to need some input and output hatches. We're going to need a coke oven and some bricks, just plain old bricks. So bricks, I'm sure you know how to make. You need 1 coke oven brick. And then you're going to need some input and output hatches. These are actually bronze hatches that you need to make. And there's 4 of them. And these are the fluid input hatch, the fluid output hatch, item input hatch, and the item output hatch. Quite simple what they do. You input fluids in the input hatch, you output fluids in the output, items in, items out. And you're going to need these, all 4 of them, in your coke oven. So what we're going to do with the coke oven is it's a 3x3. Interior is empty. So I'm just going to put my bricks down. Here, here, here. That's because I'm putting my hatches on the corners. I'm going to put a coke oven brick here, which is basically the controller. If you're not sure where the item should go, use your wrench, and when you look at it, can you see it's showing you which items are missing here? It's showing me that there's nothing in the middle. I do need to put bricks around. Okay. I then hold over my fluid output hatch, showing me where I can put those. I can't put it on the middle row, as you can see, but I can put it on the top or bottom row. I'm going to put my fluid output hatch here. I'm going to put my item input hatch here. I'm going to put my item output hatch here, and I meant to put fluid input here, item input, fluid output there, item output there. And I'm going to fill this up with bricks on the outside, and then add a 3rd row. Now, if you do click on the controller here, you can see it says shape invalid. It does tell you when it's wrong. Once you've completed it, those inputs and output hatches will turn into the same color as the coke oven. And there you go, you've made a coke oven. Here's one I made earlier. I'm using a creative steam tank because I'm lazy. I'm going to pump in to the fluid input hatch, steam, and into the item input hatch, it's going to be, or it should be, coal. As you can see, the coal is going in there. You can manually put this in, of course. You don't have to do it like I am. You could just bucket it in there. I wouldn't recommend bucketing it in. This mod is all about automation, and you will be needing a lot of coal coke. I can then right-click on it, and you can see it says shape valid, status active. And on the item output, I now have a stack of coke. Take it out. You can now see that it's working because it's gone orange, so it's on. And you can see the percentage of progress in here. The recipe base is 2 EU per tick. Well, that's energy units per tick. With this steam boiler, this can make 2 EU per tick, so you're fine. And in the fluid output, you can see I'm getting creosote. And that creosote, remember, is what you're going to be using to make, you're going to be using it in the mixer. If I just get a bucket of creosote to show you, I could put it in the liquid slot of the mixer. And then I think it's redstone. I just put in here. And you can see I'm now making lubricant. And there we go, we've got some lubricant. And there's the mixer going. It's pretty cool. And obviously we're going to use that lubricant. You can fluid pipe it out into your cutting machine. And there you go, you have made a coke oven. Now that you've got your coke oven, we are now going to go one step further and look at how to make steel. Quite similar, but different. We're going to be making a steam blast furnace. Rather than bricks, you need a load of fire clay bricks. These are the same ones we made earlier. So fire clay dust that you can make, well, in a mixer now, actually. 2 and 2 makes 4, rather than 2 and 2 making 3 in your crafting table. You're also going to need a steam blast furnace, which is just a blast furnace with more fire clay bricks. So in a similar way that you made your coke oven. And then again, inputs and outputs. So the only difference here is it's 1, 2, 3, 4 high, and you don't put a ceiling on it. So it's only the bottom one. Like if I show you, so for the middle, you have this middle one here. That's it. And 1, 2, 3. You're going to be putting in items. So you need an item input hatch, a fluid input hatch, again for steam, and then a fluid input hatch. Fluid out of this? Steam blast furnace. What? Oh yes, you can actually do lots of different things in here. So for making steel, we're not going to have any fluid being made. But I would recommend using a fluid output hatch. Using a fluid output hatch, just in case you want to make another recipe at a later date using this, because you can put redstone in here to get molten redstone, raw synthetic oil to get synthetic oil, soldering alloy as well. But for right now, you don't have to make a second output hatch for fluid, only item, because you're making steel ingots. So basically, really simply in this one, you just pump in steam, and in the item slot, you're pumping in uncooked steel dust. This can be made in the crafting table with iron dust and coke dust. Coke dust is made by using your macerator with the coke that you have made in here. So if I take the coke out from our coke oven, I'm then going to run along to my macerator. I put the coke in here, you then get coke dust. With the coke dust, I then make uncooked steel dust with iron dust. Iron dust, again, you can use the macerator. 1 ingot makes 1 dust. In the forge hammer, of course, probably where you're going to be getting your iron dust, you can get from iron ore, you can get 4 iron dust. That will make you uncooked steel dust. And you just put this into your steam blast furnace into the item input, and after 30 seconds, it will make a steel ingot. So it does take quite a long time. One thing you can do on here is use gunpowder. If I right click in here, you can see it says status active, full of steel ingots. You see now it's going 14, 15, 16, 17. What you can actually do is right-click gunpowder on it, and can you see it says overclock 4 minutes, and now it's going at twice the speed. You can use gunpowder on your machines like I just have, and it will actually overclock them for a certain amount of time and double their speed. There you go. We now know how to make steel. If this is overwhelming or anything, just look down below in this video. It is all chaptered for your convenience, by the way. And I do actually make all of these mod tutorials by request. So sometimes I find ones to do myself, but a lot of the ones I do are actually by community request. So if you just comment down below mods that you want tutorials for, it actually makes my life easier. And obviously it makes your life easier because you get the guides. Now that we've got our steel ingots, what the hell are we going to do with them? Well, the first thing you're going to want to do is upgrade your bronze machines. We have here steel upgrade. They are pretty simple-ish to make. Need some fire clay bricks, some fluid pipes, bronze items that you can make in the various machines we've already seen, and a steel machine casing. And this is just with steel plates and steel gears. And again, like steel rings, etc. You're basically just going back. Once you've got your steel ingots, you can just put them in like the compressor or the forge hammer, etc. and make the exact same items that we're making before, just now with steel. You don't have to do anything different or fancy. This recipe will give you 2 steel upgrades. And there is 2 ways to upgrade them. If I take my 2 steel upgrades, first way you can upgrade them is literally by going over to your machine and right-clicking it, or sorry, shift right-clicking it. You can now see that I have upgraded my bronze furnace to a steel furnace. And you see here on the bronze cutting machine, it says at the top, steam 2 buckets. If I shift right-click, it's now 4 buckets of steam. So it's going to work at twice the speed, but also use twice as much steam. Don't worry, of course, because you can upgrade your steam boiler to a steel boiler, which could take up twice the amount of water and make twice the amount of steam. Same thing with your water pump. You can upgrade it to a steel version. So you get the hint. I could do the same with my bronze... No, I can't do the same with my bronze tank. You can make bronze tanks, but you can't use the upgrade. So I can upgrade all these machines to steel counterparts, and they are twice as fast. Another way you can do it is by going into a crafting table, putting, say, your bronze compressor in, putting in a steel upgrade, and you can then get the steel compressor. And that's the second way that you can upgrade your machines. There we go. We've now upgraded our machines to steel. There's also a few new machines that you can make when you get to steel, and that is going to be the steel packer and unpacker. It looks like this. You basically are packing these items into one. We look at what we can use with it. Things like making 9 nuggets into an ingot, 4 plates into a large plate, which no, it was always the same, isn't it? So I don't think you get much or any efficiency out of this. It's just more automation. The unpacker obviously does the opposite, and that does take steam to work. The last one is the automatic trash can, and you can pump any items or fluids into here, and it will void them. Last but not least, with steam, steam and steel, is going to be the quarry. This here is the steel quarry. We're going to need a few items to make this, and this is basically it's your quarry, just like, in the olden days. We're going to need a steam quarry itself, which is the controller here. We're going to need a load of steel machine casings. We're going to need some steel pipe machine casings. And we're also going to need some chains, which are just the basic vanilla Minecraft chains. And again, you will need some steel item input hatches. You need a steel fluid input, a steel item input, and a steel item output. So fluid and items in, just items out. One thing I have forgot to mention regarding the input and output. If I actually use, I think you can use the upgrade ones, on my hatches here, it will upgrade the whole machine to a steel version. So let's say I want to upgrade my blast furnace. Steel fluid input. I put that on there. Yes, you don't seem to be able to use the steel upgrades on them. If you make a steel version of the hatch, only one of them, it will actually upgrade the entire machine. You can see it's going even faster now. You can see it's using 4 EU per tick. So the base recipe is 2. It can now use 4. And the steel boilers can do up to 4. Bronze is 2, steel is 4. That's a way you can also upgrade then your steam blast furnace and your back to the quarry. So you're going to put your quarry at the front here. What you're then going to do is go all the way around 1, 2, 3, and go up 1 with machine casings. So literally just like that. Then on the middle, you're going to go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 with your steel pipe machine casings. You're then going to get your chain and go all the way from the ground and have it coming up to here. And then on top, you just get another machine casing like that. And then you need your inputs and outputs for your fluid. I've got my fluid input, and I'm going to use my item input. In fact, I'm just going to show you the one earlier at this point. You've made the quarry. What you actually need to input into the item hatch is bronze drills. You can make these with item pipes, iron gears, and bronze drill heads. But it does take a little bit of work to get them. As you can see, you need quite a few items to make these bronze drill heads. But if you make a stack of them, for example, what you're then going to do, pump them into the item input hatch, pump in steam into the input fluid hatch, and then in the output hatch, you're actually going to be getting ores. And this is a super flat world, so you don't need the ores underneath you or anything. It does technically mine them out of nowhere, which is fantastic, which means you never have to move your quarry, which I love. I hate moving these things and these mods. And as you can see, I've gotten this is with a stack. Or is that only with 1? Still running? Yeah, okay, so it looks like it's only used 1 bronze drill. And then in here, it doesn't tell me the durability of my drill. I believe I only put 1 stack in here for this tutorial. I've already gotten that much. So the bronze drills do last a really long time. So it does take you a while to make them. I would just say make 1 or 2. And then you're going to have tons of ore already, just with those few drills. And there you go. So this is the complete steam age, guys. You've started off with your forge hammer. You've looked at boiling up steam and using it in bronze machines. You've then looked at making a coke oven to make creosote and also coke that we can use with our steam blast furnace to make steel out of uncooked steel dust. Steam. Yep. And then we've looked at actually using that steel to make a quarry and also a few extra machines and also upgrading our machines. And that is it for the beginner guide on modern industrialization. I really hope this was useful for you. Do check out the ultimate guide on my channel for this mod, and of course any other mods that you want, do comment down below. I am doing an ultimate guide for this one as well as ad hoc tutorials. There will be a playlist on my channel for this mod. As I explained earlier, I do a lot of different mod tutorials, and it is by mostly requests from you guys. You can see I've done biomancy, industrial foregoing, immersive engineering, power. If you just go down, I have a tech mods shelf. You can scroll through, and then I also have a magic mods shelf. I do have ad hoc videos as well that aren't on here. That are going to be mods that are just like one video long, etc. So do feel free to search my channel if you are looking for a specific mod, and don't forget to subscribe. I am also launching a modded server for Patreons, and that will be available in Discord shortly as well. And I will be streaming some modded Minecraft on Twitch too.